Today, I'm letting ChatGPT decide my manager career mode. Obviously, AI is super powerful, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is a really simple task. However, I'm upping the stakes. If ChatGPT takes us all the way to a Champions League final and we lose, then the video is over. Will ChatGPT prove itself as the best career mode squad builder, or can we find out that AI isn't as great as we thought? That's right, we asked ChatGPT to build our career mode, and this is the starting 11 we were told to go with. It also gave us some great ideas for a bench and wonder kids to sign early, and even told us how to use our budget and what teams we should start with. So we spun our wheel and let ChatGPT even decide our team. And we're heading to the Premier League, so we've hopped into a career mode with Brighton, and we are making that ChatGPT team here in season 1. And we were able to build the entire ChatGPT team on day 1. We haven't progressed a single day yet, and we have this squad. Obviously, I came in with $1 billion budget to make it happen, but the only player we weren't able to get is at the left mid role, Vinicius Jr. He is currently listed as not available for sale, so we're going to keep an eye on that, but I don't think we're going to be able to get him this season. But our first player sale has finally arrived in Adam Webster, leaving for Brentford for $5.5 million. Another move here, a big one too, Joao Pedro moving to West Ham for $50 million. Lewis Dunk sold to Villarreal for $8.7 million. Danny Welbeck leaving for Roma. Joel Veltman is leaving for Stuttgart. Roma is also taking Solly March. Simon Adingra leaving for Crystal Palace. And just before the season starts, we were finally able to get it across the line. Vinicius Jr. has come to Brighton as our new left mid and forever left mid for this rebuild. But on the first day of the season in the Premier League, this is what the squad is looking like. Pretty crazy team, if I do say so myself. And our bench and reserves aren't half bad either. And ChatGPT might just be onto something here. Halfway through season 1, we are already second place, tied with Man City. It's only goal difference keeping us down here. We're in the third round of the FA Cup, but we were knocked out of the Carabao Cup by Liverpool in the third round. And the Haaland, Saka, and Musiala combo is working a dream. However, since we're still waiting on Vinicius Jr. to become a left mid, he has not been getting game time. So I'm very much hoping we can get that fixed soon. And finally, we can convert Vinicius Jr. to a left mid. So let's do that right now. And the end of this season brings Erling Haaland to a 92 rated striker and our Golden Boot winner. But Bukayo Saka, 21 goals and 17 assists is crazy from him. Vinny really didn't pick it up in the second half of the year, but at least he can now start games. Jamal Musiala, though, at our cam slot was a great choice from ChatGPT. 15 goals and 14 assists. Let's just hope this all paid off in the league. And it did pay off. 85 points was enough for us to win the title. Only 3 losses all year. 83 goals scored and 39 goals against. Pretty insane year from Brighton. And we're going to the Champions League in season number 2. But we were knocked out of the FA Cup by Leeds in the 5th round. And Leeds went on to win the FA Cup. Manchester City beat Arsenal for the Carabao Cup. Liverpool won the Champions League. Porto win the Europa League. And Chelsea beat Fiorentina for a Conference League final. But heading into season 2, I am very happy with the choices that ChatGPT made. And depending on what the budget is, with being first place and going into the Champions League, it may be worth looking at some of those backup pickups that ChatGPT was talking about. But with all of our players coming back from loan, not only is the starting 11 crazy strong, but our bench is pretty insane as well. We have players like Evan Ferguson, Enciso, Barco, Buonanotte, and Vifer. I really don't think we need to make too many changes here, other than potentially upgrading Lamptey and Cashin on our bench, which is why we've gone with a suggestion from ChatGPT to take players from South America. Now, while this player doesn't play in South America, he is from Brazil. It is the Brazilian center back from Nottingham Forest, Murillo, coming over. But we're also taking a direct suggestion from ChatGPT as well. I've decided to upgrade that left back reserve role with Destiny Udogi, but I plan on leaving the rest in the bank just in case we need to make a last minute change in January. So this is the team we're heading into season 2 with. I wouldn't be surprised if this rebuild ends here and now, because unlike season 1, we have Champions League football this year, and that all kicks off with Braga and Leverkusen, then into Dinamo Zagreb. November is Real Madrid and Celtic. December is Club Brugge, and January is Dortmund and Fenerbahce. Season 1 in the Champions League, here we go. And we've officially made it through Champions League phase here, with Haaland leading the way again, and Vinny Jr. has finally made it on the score sheet. 18 goals and 2 assists for Haaland, 17 and 8 for Vinny, 15 and 14 for Bukayo Saka. This attack is crazy. Truthfully, overall, this whole team is succeeding very well. However, we are currently 4th in the Premier League. I would have loved to see a couple of those draws turned into wins, but it seems like that's a struggle for everyone thus far. So hopefully the second half of the year goes better for us. We have won the Community Community Shield at this point. We are into round 4 of the FA Cup. I believe we're halfway to the finals in the Carabao Cup, but we did not do as well in the Champions League as I expected. 11th overall is not what I wanted to see, which takes us to a playoff game to get to the round of 16 against Fenerbahce. Game 1 here. I have a lot of hope in this side, but let's see if that hope is rewarded. Game 1 ends 2-1. We'll take that lead heading into game 2. Game 2 here. We're already up 1. Let's just keep that lead and get into the round of 16. 3-1 win. We're into the round of 16. And Bukayo Saka has been suspended for the first game of the round of 16. So Buenanote is going to have to take his place. Let's see how we do in game 1 here. 1-0 loss. We must come back in game 2. And it seems that this time Araujo is injured for game 2. So Murillo comes in to try and take over that position. We need a win here though. Can we clutch up in game 2 here? And we do not. It is a 2-0 overall loss. We are knocked out of the Champions League. And even though we got knocked out of the Champions League, we saw plenty of good things here from this team, with Haaland scoring 35 goals this year. Saka 23 and 18 is crazy. Musiala 22 and 14 and Vinny 21 and 11. We scored plenty of goals. It's just a matter of how far we made it in the league. If it wasn't obvious, we want to win the league every year, or at least get into the Champions League every year. And we have done just that. Well, not winning the league. We've made it to the Champions League yet again. Second place to Man City this year. Only 2 losses the whole year, but 13 draws absolutely killed us. Like we saw before, we won the Community Shield. We also win the FA Cup on penalties over Aston Villa. We do, however, lose the Carabao Cup final to Arsenal, and Arsenal does go on to win an all-English clash for the Champions League title. And this squad is really good, so I don't really know what changes I can make here. Maybe it's time to buy some of those wonder kids that ChatGPT was telling us about. And we're starting off season 3 with a bang, a big signing here coming in from Manchester City. Not necessarily a wonder kid anymore. Definitely not one of the wonder kids ChatGPT recommended, but a great player nonetheless. It is Josko Gvardiol coming over from Man City for a little swap deal with Tariq Lamptey. I felt like Balde wasn't really progressing the way I wanted him to, and Gvardiol is already higher rated at this point, so I'm going to take him and sell off Balde. But I have decided to go with at least one of ChatGPT's prospects here. The English wonder kid Archie Gray is coming over for a swap with Viper. While he was doing great, he is 81 rated and 26 overall, whereas Archie Gray is only 2 overall less and 6 years younger. And we were able to get that Balde transfer through, 102 million over to Newcastle. We've got a pretty good budget now, which we have used to pick up another backup center mid here. This one directly from ChatGPT. Once again, I'm trying to stick to it as much as I can. Warren Zaire-Emery coming over from Chelsea, $70 million. But I am excited for this team in season number 3. There's not many more changes we could have made, to be completely honest here. The only other major options ChatGPT gave me were players like Lamine Yamal and Nico Williams and Xavi Simons, when we have much better players in each of those roles. So this might just be where the rebuild stays unless something crazy happens. And the Champions League phases in, starting with RC Lens and Ferencvaros, moving into AS Monaco, then Bayern Munich and Feyenoord. December is Celtic again, and January is Atletico Madrid and Ajax. And once again, we've made it to February, and Haaland is just insane. 28 goals, 7 assists in 35 appearances. Musiala right behind him with 13 and 9, Saka 11 and 7, Vinny 8 and 7, and our new signing Gvardiol up to an 88 and contributing to goals somehow. And we are currently 1 point off second in the Prem, much better spot than last year. We have won the Community Shield. We're in round 4 of the FA Cup. We were knocked out of the Carabao Cup in round 3, but the Champions League went much better this year. Gvardiol did make an impact, it seems. 7 wins and 1 draw, undefeated in the Champions League. We're going straight to the round of 16 this time. But that brings us to our round of 16 matchup against Napoli. We have a 94 rated Haaland, a 94 rated Musiala, and a crazy team overall. Let's just hope it's enough to get past this Napoli side. Game 1, let's find out. 3-2, we barely edged them out. Let's see if we can solidify it in game 2. Game 2 it is. We are up by 1. We just need to keep that lead to get to the quarterfinals. Can we do it? 3-2 again. Yes. Very stressful game. Both times we dominated in shots. 6-4 overall though. Let's get to the quarterfinals. But the quarterfinals set us up against Real Madrid, one of the most historically winningest teams in the Champions League. Let's see if we can take them down here. Game 1, can we make it easy on ourselves? 2-0 is a great start for sure. 2-0 lead here against Real Madrid. We need a big win to move on to the next round. 2-0, and we do it. A 1-1 draw is enough. We're going to the semis. And our semi-final matchup is Borussia Dortmund, my favorite team, and also the team that knocked out Arsenal in this season of the Champions League. Arsenal is currently the team beating us in the Prem, so I'm hoping we can beat them, but we got to get past Dortmund as well. Can we do it here? Game 1. It is a 2-1 victory. We did dominate a little bit in shots there, but we're going to need a lot more in Game 2 to move on to the final. And sadly, Declan Rice has been suspended for Game 2, so we're going to have to swap him out. But thankfully for us, we brought in Zaire Emery just before the season started. So with Zaire Emery in this side, we're going to have to see if we can beat Dortmund and make it to a Champions League final in season number 3. Can we do it here? I'm a little bit nervous. And it's a 3-1 win. Haaland, Frimpong, and Vardy will take us to a Champions League final. But it all comes down to this. A Champions League final in season number 3 against RB Leipzig. I haven't really watched a final in a while. So we're going to do that here today. Let's watch this Champions League final. One big negative here though is William Saliba picked up a red card in the last match. We're going to have to swap him out for this final. So Murillo is taking that starting spot for him in this Champions League final match. But in the words of Fabrizio Romano, here we go. We are in the Champions League final. I am pumped for this. Let's see just how good this team really is. If ChatGPT has taken us all the way here for a reason. Ball comes out. Can we get it into Haaland? The ball's into Haaland, top of the box on the 6. Shot. Goal. Haaland scores top right corner. 17 minutes in. Does his famous point to the stands. Sorry, buddy. This is Leipzig, not Wolfsburg. But Erling Haaland takes us 1-0 up in this Champions League final debut for Brighton. The ChatGPT team is actually doing quite well so far. And a note just came up saying that Haaland has tied the competition record for goals in a single Champions League season with that goal. 17 goals in 15 games for him. What a season this has been. And I would love to head into halftime 1-0 up. All right, in halftime here, Leipzig got a late shot off at the end, but it meant nothing for us. We are 1-0 up heading into the second half. And I'm making no changes here. I like what I'm seeing. If we do need to sub someone in later, maybe we will. For now, I like it. And I'm sure you can see my reaction here. I didn't think anything was going to come out of that. Xavi Simons has just barely snuck that through into the post. Of course, one of the players ChatGPT told us to sign has snuck that through out of nowhere and scored a goal. I apologize for the zero reaction, but I was expecting nothing from that play. And with that goal being completely out of nowhere, I had to ask ChatGPT, how do I win this game? And it recommended I take Camavinga, Murillo, and Saka off. ChatGPT asked me to put a left back at center back and a cam at right mid. ChatGPT says sub Camavinga and Murillo now, and if we're still struggling in the 70th minute, sub in Enciso or Ferguson. So we're gonna do just that. Camavinga is coming off for Zaire Emery, and Destiny Udogie is going as center back. And I guess we need to prep Evan Ferguson and Julio Enciso to go on later on in this game. But here come our substitutions onto the pitch, and let's hope ChatGPT got this right. We are back in the game, and the ball is instantly through to Haaland at the top of the box. We get a shot off, but it's saved. That's an instant impact there. We get the ball in off a corner. I'm hoping we can get this back over to Haaland. We win it again on the outside of the box there. Passing to Haaland, shot, and it's wide. That's 2 shots in 6 minutes since these changes. But I'm watching closely to see if we need our changes by the 70th minute, as we're on a counterattack here in the 65th, and the 70th minute is here. I've got to make a change. ChatGPT told me to. So Enciso is coming on for Bukayo Saka in the 70th minute of this Champions League final. ChatGPT, I hope you know what you're doing. Now it's a matter of if that substitution is going to go through. But Bukayo Saka gets a long ball up. I don't think Haaland's going to get there. He does not. It's the 80th minute now, and Enciso has still not been able to get on the field. Ball goes out wide to Frimpong. He is running down the wing to Saka. Enciso is still not on in the 88th minute here. The ball is knocking out of play, but the ball goes through to Saka. He knew he was coming off, so he's playing his heart out, and he plays a terrible cross in, and Erling Haaland does not receive it. We might be going to extra time here, and we are going to extra time in this Champions League final. Here we are, extra time. I'm going to hold off a little bit before asking for more help from ChatGPT. I want to let this Enciso transfer work. He is finally onto the pitch, and here he is on the ball. Gets the ball straight up and in. Can Vinny get there? He does not, but we win the ball back outside the box. Enciso is getting plenty of touches, and Zaire Emery takes a shot, and it is saved. Going out for a corner. ChatGPT might have cooked here. We have a corner. It is Declan Rice, set piece specialist, gets the ball in, and Haaland gets a header, but it is blocked. That ball comes out for Frimpong, and we're hoping to get a quick attack here. Udogie into Vinny, into Enciso, into Haaland, back out to Enciso, through to Vinny again. This is some crazy passing out here on top of the box. Let's see if they can get a shot off. Haaland gets it, shot, saved again, but Vinny picks up the ball, back to Enciso, Zaire Emery, shot, and missed. This is a stressful extra time. 15 minutes to play, 15 minutes to get the winning goal, or else it's penalties in this Champions League final. We get the ball to Enciso again. He gets it through to Musiala. Musiala gets it, tries to get it to Haaland, sorry, but it doesn't make it far enough. We have 1 minute of added time, so we need to win it back here, or else we're going straight to pens. And Leipzig wanted pens. You already know what we have to do. So I've gone back to ChatGPT. I've asked them who should take my penalties and in what order. And this is what they said. We should start with Haaland, into Musiala, Vinny, Enciso, and Declan Rice to finish it off. Very interesting choice. I don't know what ChatGPT has with Enciso, but he might just be the pivotal player on this team. And so we've matched ChatGPT's penalty lineup to a T. I'm hoping this works out, man. Penalty shootout to decide our Champions League final here. And ChatGPT has taken us this far. It's got to take us all the way, right? Penalty one here. Erling Haaland shoots, and it's in. A Panenka to start things off. Penalty for Leipzig. And it's in. 1-1. It is Musiala here. Takes it, and it's saved. Oh, it's saved. And Leipzig scores their pen. Unfortunate. Vinny Jr. here. We've got to score this, right? And it's in. Vinny Jr. slots it. We got to save this one from Leipzig, or else we may not have a chance of winning this. And it is just in. Enciso, the pivotal player, saved again. So it all comes down to this. We have to save the next 2 penalties from Leipzig in order to win this Champions League final, or else it's all over. And it is in, and we have lost the Champions League final to RB Leipzig. And that's it. I said at the beginning of the video, if we make it all the way to the final and lose, that's it. ChatGPT has failed. And even with a standout season, 52 goals and 8 assists, that's 60 goal contributions in 60 games for Haaland, we were not able to go all the way in the Champions League final. Musiala, Vinny, and Saka has been the combo of dreams up there. But again, it was just not enough. And while I couldn't go see the actual standings, I guess this year wasn't a total failure. We did end up winning the Premier League. We did win the Community Shield. We also won the FA Cup, but we were knocked out in round 3 of the Carabao Cup. And of course, runners-up in the Champions League final. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you so much. And if you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe and comment down below what other kind of content you want to see on FC25 or otherwise. I appreciate you so much, and I'll see you next time. Peace.